Hey everybody, hope you're well. Happy Sunday, happy Monday, wherever you are. My name is Mr. Sorenzo, and welcome to the first episode of The Axe Angle, the first stream number one episode, whatever you want to call it. It is the first one, and it's called The Axe Angle, and I really like the name. I don't know about you. All right. So this is what kind of inspired me to do this. Today I have a bit of a migraine headache, not gonna lie. And my left arm is screwed, so I shouldn't be playing a single note. And I had to take a day off from work because I wasn't really doing well in the morning. I got some painkiller pills and I'm feeling a little better. But I thought, all right, I slept a lot today. I need to do something. I don't want to be the guy who just, chills at home, doesn't do anything. I'm not that person. So despite the pain, the misery, and all I'm going through, I am going to do something productive today. And I thought, all right, this will be a good idea for me to actually start this. Why not? So we can have a chat, we can have fun, ask me questions, and I'll try to help you with whatever knowledge I have regarding guitar, playing, maintenance, anything. And we'll check out some news regarding guitar, have a chat and hang out and have a good time, hopefully. So this is what we're going to be doing today. And oops, I just dropped my remote. What I'm going to do, because my second monitor hasn't arrived yet, I am going to try to find the stream on the chat, on my phone. And then that way I can actually see your chat as we're having a chat together. Give me 1 second. How do I go into this thing? That's the difficult thing about dealing with your phone. And then we'll get to start. All right. Give me 1 second, chat. See, I can't do it. For some reason, it doesn't show. All right, that's fine. We might have to come to that later. Is there any way that I can connect it on the OBS? Because I know OBS has some docs, YouTube Live control panel. Yeah, but it needs me to log in. Okay, doesn't matter. We'll deal with that. It's okay. All right, just for starters, let's do this. And I wanted to, because I can't play, I thought maybe it would be a good idea for me to do a bit of a refresher on my guitar fretboard note memorization. So I've got a couple of things ready here for us to check out. I am going to switch the camera. Let's go. Oops. Wrong camera. This is what I was trying to do. All right. Let's see where we are. I am going to go to this thing, guitar notes, and let's do a bit of a practice together. So this is a website called Guitar Orb, and it has this thing here that we can use to practice memorizing guitar notes. So let's try what we can do about it here. Okay, so first is the 3rd fret of the 5th string. For those who are listening and not watching, the first thing is the 3rd fret of the 5th string. This. What note is it? It is a C. And the reason I remember this really well, and this is one of the first one I always remembered, was because the first chord I think I learned was the C major chord. So this chord, my fingers don't let me play. That chord is a C major chord. And that was the first chord that I played. So I always remember this note. The 3rd fret on the 5th string is the C. All right, next one. The 9th fret of the 1st string. That's an easy one. See if you can have a guess. Any ideas? It's this note. 9th fret of the 1st string. Okay, if you don't know this note, a very easy way to memorize it is to go from the notes that you already know. So for example, we know that this open string is E. So we know that the 12th fret is an octave higher, so this is also an E. Right? Now all you got to do is to come back from that. So that's E. And then what's the note before E? 2 frets up, that's a D. And then what's a fret before D? A C sharp. So a C sharp or D flat is one way to go. Another way to go about it, and this is probably easier for me, because I learned to tune my guitar using other strings. So like, for example, you have your E, and then on the 5th you have the A. And then, on the 5th fret of your 5th, you have the D, G, B, E, right? So I know the 5th fret is A. So a lot of times I just go from there. A, B, C, then you got the C sharp or the D flat. So that's what I do. Okay, let's go to the next one. What do we have? The next one is the 1st fret of the 5th string. This is easy. You should be able to do it. I should be able to do it. This one is... Okay, so you have the open string A for your 5th, and then the 1st fret is A sharp or B flat. How are we doing so far? Where's everybody? Oops, wrong one. There we go. I keep making this mistake. How's everybody doing? How many did you guys get right so far? I hope some of you got something right. Okay, let us go back to it. I'm going to maybe play something in the background just for us to have a bit of fun. And here we go. Okay. And screen share. Here we are. Okay. 7th fret of the 2nd string. So it's here. Sorry guys, my injury's killing me. 7th fret. Here we are. And this is easy too, because I know that on the 2nd string, the 5th fret is E, because that's how I tune my guitar. So that's E. A note higher, so 2 fret higher than your E, is your F sharp. So you got E, F, F sharp. So we know it's an F sharp. All right. Again, on the 2nd string, the 10th fret, similar to that first strategy, we know the 12th fret is also B. Come back a note. That's an A. So here we are. Man, even doing this little bit hurts my arm, not gonna lie. 2nd fret of the 5th string. That's pretty easy. It's a B, right? So it's a note higher. You got your A, B. Easy peasy. Okay. 11th fret of the 2nd string. Here. B flat, right? So 12 is like the octave. Open string is B. Come back is like a B flat or A sharp. Okie dokie. This is interesting. So this is the 14th fret on your 6th string. Okay, so the 6th string is E when you play it open. On the 12th fret, it's an octave higher, so it's still the E. 2 notes higher, so you got E, you got the F, and then you got the F sharp here. Which coincidentally, you can also find it here. Or here. Or here. F sharp. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So we're on the 3rd string now. So we're on the G string. No pun intended. We're on the G string, okay? Don't pluck it too hard. And it is the 15th fret. I gotta keep my mind together. It is the 15th fret of the G string. Here we go. Okay. 12 is G. 13th is what? G sharp. Next one is A. The one after is A sharp. 8th fret of the 3rd string, G. What do we think? Make up your mind. G string, the 8th fret. What note is it? So, one way to calculate it, like, if you don't remember it on the spot, and I don't remember these things like around there on the spot, especially for the 3rd string, I always just go from what I know to be, like, true. So, when I tune my guitar, the 4th fret, I know it's a B. So I can build up from there, right? So B to C is only 1 fret, so that's C. And then 2 frets up is a D. And then 1 fret up is D sharp. So that's my way to go about it. Same here, right? So, like, for example, for those who are listening, it's asking what the note is on the 7th fret of your 4th string. So your D string, right? I know the 5th fret is a G, so 2 fret higher is the A. Just like how the 5th fret of the 1st string is also A. All right, 1st fret. This is easy. Let's make it quick. 1st fret of your E string is F. 7th fret of the 4th string, the D string. We did this. We just did it. It's also an A. 3rd fret of your A string is a C. 12th fret of your E string, come on, let's go. Answer. It's an E. 3rd fret of your 6th string, what note is it? Quick. It's a G. And I know this, and again, this is the same thing. If I go back to my, there we go. Like, that's why this G, that's why your G chord, your G major chord, looks like this, because that 3rd finger on the 6th string, this is probably a better angle, here we go. That 3rd finger on the 6th string is your root note of the chord. And that's why this is the G major chord, or maybe you can play it this way. This is a G major chord. So I know for a fact, for playing the G major chord for too long and too much, I know it for a fact that the 3rd fret of the E string is the G. That's fun. It gets easier, right? Like, if the thing is, and this is like a really important thing, right? And not everybody really talks about it. That is that the best way to memorize something on the guitar is not so much like you looking at a diagram. I can't believe I said diaphragm. I'm tired and I'm on painkillers. This is what it does to you. I'll say it again. The way to memorize things on guitar is not so much to look at a diagram and try to memorize it. It's not like history. Like, you know, when you're in history class or chemistry class, whatever, you have to read and memorize, right? There's a lot of that. With guitar, it's not like that. The memorization process on the guitar is actually with the playing. And it's not just like this, like memorizing the notes. I was teaching the pentatonics to a student, and it's always like that. Like, you got your 5 diagrams. I'm almost a diaphragm again. You had your 5 different diagrams there, and you start, with the minor, go to the next one, go to the next one, right? So all five, and the way to memorize it, it's not you memorizing a diagram. You actually have to play it over and over again, which I can't do right now, right? But once you do it often enough, you'll be able to just pick it up like that. And these notes, this exercise that we're doing is genuinely no different. Like it's exactly the same. That's the thing. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let us go. I'm just going to do one quick thing, guys. So bear with me a second. Here we go. Let us go. Here we are. All right, next. We have the 10th fret of the E string. So a note before E. What's the note before E? 12 is the E. A note before that is the D. Good. Okay. Fifth note of the sixth string is an A. The ninth fret of your third string. Ooh, this is a nice one. I'll give you guys some time to think. So, what is the ninth fret of the third string here? Again, pretty easy. Calculated. 12th fret is a G. You have your A sharp or G flat. You got your A. And then you got your A flat or G sharp. I made a mistake. Hold on. It's an E. Wow, where did I make a mistake here? Hold on. G. Oh, because I went up after G is not A, goddammit. It's F. Sorry, guys. I forgot English alphabet. It's an E. My bad. Sorry. I'll say it again. Instead of going up, I went down. So you got your G. Before G is F sharp, F, E. This is the thing, man. When you're not well and you're on painkillers, you don't recognize that A is after G, not before. All right, couple more, and then we'll have a break. You have the seventh string, seventh fret of your fourth string. Seventh fret of the fourth string. What is it? I swear I know the answer this time. So, seventh fret of your fourth string, that's here. What are all of these notes? A. And again, if you can't remember it on the spot, just go with the fifth fret. You know the fifth fret of your fourth string is a G because you tune your guitar. And then go 2 fret up. It's all A's. So here we go. Cool. There we go. There we go. How are we feeling? How's everybody feeling so far? So far, so good. And hey, Sia, how are you? I had an acoustic guitar as a kid. Really wish I stuck to it. You can start, man. Sia, can I tell you something? And it's so good to see you, by the way. I'll for those who don't know, Sia is a close relative. Sia, for those who don't, I was teaching guitar to a guy in his 60s. And I got to know him because we were working in the same workplace, and he retired. And then after that, he invited me to his place to jam, and then I ended up teaching him lessons. And it's so not late to start, especially at your age. And like, there's so many free so many free resources on YouTube for you to check out. So, yeah. But yeah, man, good to see you. You can start. It's really not late. I'm just saying. Here's what I got to do, man. Because the thing is, my second monitor hasn't arrived yet. So what I'm actually gonna do is to see if I can get to my own darn stream. And if I can do that, I can actually read the chats. How do you do that? You do it through the studio, right? Like, how does one sees the comments there? Because I can't pop that out right now. Like, as much as I want to get the chats popped out and for me to check it out. Pop out chat. Ah, I can do it actually. Okay. Gosh, that's better. Okay, you can do that. So how do you? Yeah. That's depressing, dude. Like the fact that I can't use my phone for it is really crazy. If anybody knows how to, just let me know. I'm new to this whole thing. Manage videos, live. Yeah. See this thing. The thing is, like in Twitch, you can actually do it. Like in Twitch, you can actually go on and see everything like live, and you can transfer your chat to the phone because I don't have a second monitor right now. But yeah, whatever. Whatever. Okay. How about we read some guitar news? There was a couple of things on the news that is not Giacomatura. For those who are looking for Giacomatura stuff, I actually made a video about Giacomatura. I'll put the link of that in the chat if anybody wants to see it. But we're not going to talk about Giacomatura right now, unless you really want to. Then we'll talk about Giacomatura. We're not talking about Giacomatura today. But there was a couple of things I wanted to sort of have a chat with you guys about, and we could talk about it. So let me bring that up, and here we go. Check this out. So Guitar.com has this featured a story of Dave Grohl's signature Gibson DG335. It's this one. And they actually got a Epiphone version of that. So if I go to, give me one second, Google, and I go to Dave Grohl Epiphone. Yeah, it's this guitar, right? And for some reason, AliExpress is doing like $330 one, like a knockoff, like a chips in. What I've heard is that it's actually not a good guitar. The reviews of it, from what I've heard, like not many people were fond of this guitar. It has a lot of good reviews, 4.8 according to Google. But the couple of people that I spoke to, they were not really a fan of this guitar for some reason. Like, yeah. What I don't understand about it, to be honest with you guys, is why would a rock and roll star, somebody who, plays a lot of power chords and a lot of tight notes and everything else. So like for this guitar, I would suspect that you want to make sure that your lower end is really tight, right? Let me pause the music for a second. So your lower end, like especially for people that play a lot of power chords, like, right? And this is not the good guitar for it. I've got other guitars in the back for me to use. But the thing is, and this is one of the reasons why almost every rock player, metal player uses solid body guitars. That cavity inside the guitar, these cavities here, so, oops, the cavity, right? It adds extra resonance, right? It basically not only transfers the strings vibrations directly to the pickup, that resonance inside the hollow body of the guitar kind of influences that, right? Adds something extra to it. And I don't understand how you can get a tight low end with a guitar like that. You can't. Your distortion sound is going to be very fuzzy. So he probably wanted to get. Obviously, Dave Grohl he's not an amateur. Like the guy is a professional, right? He's not a beginner or anything. So it works for him. It works for him. I guess works for him. But I just don't understand the logic of it. Yeah, it's just weird to me that somebody who plays a lot of power chords, a lot of low end, wants anything other than tightness in that low end. Um, you know, so but yeah, but going back to the reviews, how about we have a look at its specs, and then when we can have a chat about what it's like. Okay, so let me go to Epiphone's website. See if I can actually find the specs directly here. There we go. Yep, whatever. Okay. So what do we have here? The wait is over. Now you can't have it all. Dave Grohl is an alternative rock legend. No, he's not an alternative rock legend. He's a rock legend. Nothing about what he plays is alternative rock. You know who's alternative rock? Radiohead. Those guys are alternative rock. Not saying one is better and one is worse. I'm just saying like it's like calling him a jazz player. He's just not. Okay. Body type is ES. Yes. Top body is layered maple, poplar. Okay, that's depressing. Not a fan of poplar. Center block is maple, so center block because it's a hollow body guitar. Body shape is ES with diamond sound holes. Sure, it's not one of those like, sound holes that looks like an F. What else? Back is layered maple, poplar. Binding is a single ply white top, back sound holes, and fretboard. Again, maple poplar. Maple poplar finishes gloss. I hope the neck finish is not gloss, because then otherwise it's kind of shiny. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, you can't say from a photo, but it's too shiny, that neck. If the neck is gloss, I'm going to hate that guitar already. For those who don't know, if your neck, like this guitar, by the way, that I'm holding, is gloss, let me see if I can show it to you guys better. If the neck is gloss, it looks nice and shiny, but it is a little sticky. Whereas satin guitars, any guitar with a satin finish, it's just so smooth. You can just play on it smoothly without any friction, with honestly minimal friction from the get-go. With these ones, your hand has to start sweating a little bit till sort of lubricates that thing for you. So that's why I'm not a fan of guitars with gloss necks. And honestly, just like for the sake of performance and video shoot and all that, right? How many shots do you get from behind for people to see the gloss on the neck? You really don't. Like, the front is where it matters on a guitar, right? In terms of the aesthetics, the looks. Not so much the neck. So I don't understand this whole logic behind gloss necks, but hey, everybody got their preferences. Okay. Man, my head hurts when I laugh. Okay. So that's the Pelham Blue. Okay. All right, so that's the body. The neck is a C-shaped profile. It's a 12-inch radius, okay? So that's a very standard Gibson. So it's a little flatter than PRS Custom 24s that are in 10 inches, but it's still on the round side of fretboard radius, right? For those who don't know me, I'm more of a fan of flatter fretboards, 14, 16, 20. That Holcomb signature sitting back there is a 20-inch. And 20 inches are pretty much flat as a table when it comes to fretboard radius. Frets, medium jumbo, good. Mother of pearl, split diamond, inlays, cool. 2475. So we're not really down tuning much, are we, Mr. Dave Grohl? 2475 is like a Gibson Les Paul scale length. But because the knot to bridge length is a little shorter, you're going to have a hard time down tuning that guitar. Neck is a one-piece mahogany. Love that. Nut is a Graphtec. Yeah, it's an Epiphone. You don't expect a bone nut in there. Joint is a set neck, 22 frets, obviously, with that scale length. What are we talking about? Hardware. Grover Mini Rodomatic tuning machines, two-way truss rod. What are the electronics? Go to the pickups. What do we got? Gibson USA burst bucker. Okay, so the neck pickup and the bridge pickup both are US made pickups. Okay, that's a nice touch. It's a 2-volume, 2-tone CTS potentiometers, Mallory capacitors. So that the electronics is pretty good on this guitar. Right. Yeah. It's not a bad spec at all. And again, the only issue I've got with this guitar is the fact that it's, you know, hollow body. That's my only issue with this guitar. And the potential gloss neck. And the potential gloss neck, right? Other than that, oops, sorry guys. Other than that, this looks like a perfectly fine guitar. It's a little big. I think it looks a bit bulky. Let's go to the photos again. Where was the photo of Dave Grohl? Go down. Is there a photo of him playing it? No? Hold on. Dave Grohl Epiphone, yeah. So let's get a photo of him actually holding it. Yeah, there we go. Let me move myself here. And let's go. So there we go. That's the photo. Yeah, that's like a huge guitar. This guitar is ginormous. I might have to move myself again. Sorry, folks. That's a ginormous guitar, by the way. Look at that. Now, it's not going to be as heavy because it's hollow body. And it's the Epiphone one that he's playing. So good on him for actually playing the guitar that he's trying to sell to people on the stage. Mark Holcomb does that. Matt Heafy does that. There are a bunch of artists that are actually honest. You know what I mean? Artists that are actually honest and they're doing that. So good on them. Good on him for doing that. That's a ginormous guitar. Why would you have such a big guitar as your... Why? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense at all. Whatsoever. Just saying. Would you guys buy it? Like, would anybody here buy this, actually? Let me go to the chat. Would anybody actually buy this? Like, I'll be very surprised. Why would... Yeah, because the thing is, like, there's so many better options, right? And now consider the fact that this guitar is an expensive guitar for its spec, I think, right? Like $1,300 US dollars is pretty expensive for this guitar. It's and a lot of it is because it's a signature guitar, right? But for the same specs, you probably could get a better guitar. Like if you're a rock player or a metal player, for this money you can get much better guitar than this. Yeah. It's just that, like, yeah, the price tag I think is a little inflated because it's Dave Grohl's signature. Obviously, it's a signature guitar, right? But yeah, not a fan, man. Not a fan. Does not suit my needs whatsoever. It just does not. Yeah, I don't understand why somebody would buy it. Okay, so we went through all of this to talk about the Guitar Magazine's story of Dave Grohl's signature Gibson. One of the most loved and recognizable Gibson signature guitar. I don't know about loved. I don't know about recognizable either. I mean, Les Paul is there, okay? The V is there. The Explorer is there. I don't know about... Anyways. Funny is, though, like, Gibson doesn't have that many artists on their lineup comparing to ESP, for example, right? ESP has a lot of people on their lineup. Schecter has been growing their lineup a lot. PRS, not so much. Fender, like a signature guitar, not that many know. But ESP, my goodness, those guys just like got it all. Anyways, a lot of people tend to assume that Dave Grohl was a drummer in Nirvana. Well, they assume correctly because he was a drummer in Nirvana, who suddenly took up playing guitar in the wake of the band's sad end. It was a sad end. Subsequently formed the Foo Fighters. Yes, he did. The reality is that Dave Grohl's guitar history is much more involved and far-reaching. All right, whatever. Give me the first encounter. "This is a beautiful guitar," Grohl said in an interview with Gibson about that 67 Trini, during which he also explained how he ended up adding his obscure Gibson model to his collection. So it was in Bethesda, Maryland, 92 or 93. He was still in Nirvana when he bought it, and he thought it was unusual. The Trini Lopez model. All right, so this is the, for those who don't know, this is the Trini Lopez model. This. Yeah. Which is very similar to Dave Grohl's, right? I mean, the bridge is a little different, and the pick guard is missing, right? But even the input jack, the config, and everything else is very much the same, like very similar. You literally just take the pick guard out and have a normal bridge. I think it's the same thing. So yeah, he had a Trini Lopez model and he liked it, and it became this, basically. That's the long story short. Legacy of its own. If you have seen Foo Fighters play in the last 15 years or so, you have seen Dave Grohl banging away his signature guitar. You often see him playing it, yada yada. So yeah, that's the legacy of its own. I don't know. I don't know what I think about this guitar. Here's the thing. When it comes to the selection of the guitars, right, you have to keep in mind your needs, sort of like equally to your wants, right? Because buying a signature guitar has to do with the want. Like, I'll give you guys a very, like, I'm the first person to admit that I buy emotionally when it comes to buying guitars. That guitar, the King V Jackson you guys see back there, so that's Corey Bailu's signature model. It's an Indonesian-made 6-string Jackson guitar. It's not a bad guitar at all. It has Seymour Duncan blackouts in it. But I'm not the biggest fan of V-shaped guitars. And I know that very well now. And the reason I'm not is because I play the guitar in a classical position like this. So the guitar sits on my left eye. I'm right-handed on guitar. I'm left-handed, but I play the guitar like a right-handed person. So it sits there as opposed to the folk way, which is here, right? So people who play the guitar the folk way play like that. I play like this. And if you play like this with a V guitar, it's going to be really hard to hold it because the V literally falls here, right? And so unless you keep your thighs really close, you can't hold the guitar upright like this. Now, there are a few things you can do about it. You can, like, you know, bring the strap a little higher, so you're basically playing it with the strap on, but you're playing seated, so you can't actually disconnect the strap like I'm doing right now. Or you can just play standing. Or you can just keep your thighs really closed, which is a little difficult for me to do because I got thick thighs. And it doesn't work. This doesn't work for me. So I bought that guitar because I like Trivium. Well, I used to like Trivium a lot at the time when I bought it. And so that's why I bought it. Really. Yeah. So it's not like it's the most ideal guitar for me, but it's a good guitar, but I'm not a fan of V. And then this is basically it. So the point I was trying to make is that I go sidetracked pretty easily. So the point that I was trying to make here is that when you buy a guitar, you have to consider your needs and your wants like equally, at least. That is why, like, I'd recommend like a Telecaster to like a person who's just starting to play the guitar. the Telecaster is a really nice and easy shape. It's probably safe to say that it's the most simple of electric guitars in terms of playing, maintenance, and all of that. And it's very minimal. It's very minimalistic kind of a guitar. And so it's probably like my recommendation to anybody who's starting to play the guitar. Either play this or like a Strat shape. They're the most easiest ones to deal with and the most standard when it comes to playing different shapes and forms and seated or standing or different positions and all that. Now, a lot of people, when they want to buy a guitar, like if you think about it, the person that wants to start playing the guitar, they want to start playing the guitar because they saw somebody else playing, either on the internet or in person live or somebody in their family. They saw somebody playing and they find that person cool. Like that person and what he's playing is really cool. I like the sound. I like the music. I like the mannerisms of playing the guitar. That's cool. That's why a lot of people start playing. I remember, man, I started to play the electric guitar because of Kirk Hammett and James Hetfield of Metallica. Like, I saw them and I was like, wow, this is good. The song is awesome and they look really cool. I want to be a part of that, right? That's why I started. And so a lot of people start like that. And when you start like this, it's hard to think rationally all the time. Again, I'm the prime example. So I've seen a lot of people go for like the snake bite shape, the James Hetfield's signature ESP shape. They go for that, or they go for a V, and those guitars are not the easiest ones to deal with when it comes to playing seated, at least. Snake bites are heavy sometimes, actually, pretty heavy. So yeah, keep that in mind for any person who likes to play. That's, I think, is a really good advice. But yeah, that's a thing. And I understand, like, the thing is, you have to like a guitar to spend a lot of time with it. There's no questions about it, right? So if you don't like a guitar, you're less and less likely to spend time with it. And that's the reason why guitar aesthetic matters. Because not everybody wants to pick up a guitar and play it on a stage or at a pub or even jam. Most people just buy a guitar and play it in the bedroom or at home, right? But the reason that guitar aesthetic matters is because if you find it pleasing, you're more likely to spend time with it, as opposed to you thinking about it like like something, not cool anymore kind of a thing, like you're regretting it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. That's the reason why I think it's important. All right. But yeah, let's do a little bit more of guitar fretboard practice, shall we? I'm gonna play a song in the background for us. Something like, something like Cool to chill. And then we can start again. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 segundo. 1 second, please. Let's see if I can find like a nice slow playlist that I can play in the background for us. And all right, here we go. Let's see. Is this too loud? If anyone can confirm if it's too loud. No, we're good? All right, let's see if we can practice a little bit more. Here we go. Let me share my screen. Okay, here we are. let's do it. So, what is the 5th fret on your 5th string? Here. Otherwise this. Otherwise this. It's a D. And again, go back to how you tune your guitar, right? 5th, 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 4th, 5th, 5th. Well, not the last one, but you get the point. Okay, what's the 9th fret on your 3rd string? And that's the one that I made a mistake. If you guys remember, I went the other way. So the 12th fret is G. What's 2 frets before G? It's an F. So it's this. So 10th fret, that's an F. This is also an F. Oops. And this is also an F. This is also an F. What is the 7th fret of your 3rd string? So not this. Otherwise, there we go. Sorry guys, again, on painkillers and my arms are dead. That's a D. 7th fret of your 3rd string is a D. Okay. Am I sharing? Yes, good, thank God. All right, so what is the 9th fret of your 5th string? Here. What is this? It's an F sharp. And again, the way to figure it out is you can either go from your 12th fret and say, all right, this is A, right? And then 2 notes behind is a G, a note behind is F sharp. Or you can say, all right, the 5th fret is, I know it's a D, so I can build up from there, and I can say D, E, F, F sharp. That's another way to go. 11th fret of the G string is the one note before G. What is that? E, F, F sharp, G. Or G, F sharp or G flat, right? 14th fret of the 2nd string. What's the note after B? Because we know the 12th fret is B. What's the note after B? Like 2 frets after B. It's C sharp. The reason it's C sharp is because we know that the difference between the B and the C, the gap between the B and the C, the interval, don't say I said that, between the B and the C is just a fret, right? So you got the B, oops, C, and then the one after is C sharp. Okie dokie. 14th fret of the 6th string. F sharp, right? Because 12th fret is the octave. 14th fret of the 2nd string, your B string. What's 2 frets after B? I thought we talked about this. It's C sharp. The note before C sharp is a C. What's the 7th fret of your G string? And I love saying G string for some reason. Every time I say it, dirty things come to my mind. Yeah. What's the 7th fret of your G string? Here. D. 7th fret of the G string is D. 12th fret of the B string is B. That's easy. Let's go to the next one. 1st fret of your G string is G sharp. Kind of easy, right? 12th fret of the B string, 2nd string is B. Again, G sharp. Why is this repeating itself? 12th fret of your E string is E. Doesn't matter if it's your 1st or your 6th string. 13th fret of your 3rd string is like the 1st fret of your 3rd string, which is G sharp. Where's G sharp? Open string 3rd is G. 10th fret of your 2nd string is, what's the 2 frets before B? A sharp or B flat, and then what's before that? A. And one last one. What's the 11th fret on your E string? So it's 1 fret before E, right? So open string is E, 12th fret is E. What's 1 fret before E? And that's G, D sharp or E flat. Here we go. We made it. Yeah. I was watching this thing on YouTube. There was a story of Steve Vai going to take lessons with Joe Satriani. Do you guys know that story? How the first session between Joe Satriani and Steve Vai went? Because Joe Satriani is like a great guitar player, but he's also like a legendary guitar teacher. That's one of the things that makes it unique, because you know, you have guitar teachers. Let me stop the music. This is like an important thing to talk about, because you have guitar teachers, right? Teaching ability. And then you have artists, guitar players, right? And these two skills are not necessarily the same. Very, very important to keep in mind. Like, these two skills of being a teacher and being an artist are not necessarily the same. But Joe Satriani is one of those few people that has actually figured a way to, you know, have both of it really well. Like, so he's a good teacher, he's a good guitar player, and he taught Steve Vai, he taught Kirk Hammett of Metallica, by the way, was a student for a very, very long time. And very famously, the first session, I think it was the second session, Steve Vai went to Joe Satriani, he got kicked out. Because after the first session, Joe Satriani gave him a homework. It was like, memorize all the frets on the guitar. So when I ask you what's this or that, you should know exactly what they are. And if you don't know your guitar frets, you don't know anything, if you don't know your notes. So Steve Vai says yes, goodbye. After the first session, goes home, comes back next week, hasn't memorized everything well. Satriani just stopped the lesson and kicked him out. He was like, all right, that's it. Go back. And he wrote it on his notebook. If you don't know your notes, you don't know nothing. Is it important for a casual player? It really depends on that player, right? It really depends on who you are as a guitar player. If you want to take it very seriously, even as a hobby, not being a full-timer, well, then yeah, right? And the reason it's important is that I'll give you guys a few applications of it, of why it's important. So for example, if you're playing a chord of any sort, if you know where your root note is, it tells you what that chord is to a great extent, right? So you can play that, you got the root note. Like, for example, I'm just going to go, right? And I know for a fact that I'm playing the G sharp minor. And the reason I know it's a G sharp, because I know this fret is this note. The 4th fret of my 6th string is G sharp, right? Even that hurts my hand. Holy. I know that's G sharp. And I know the shape of the minor chord when I hold it in a power chord position, and it sort of gives the answer. So if you hold chords and whatever not, you know exactly what it is that you're doing and all. Also, if you know where you are on the fretboard, it helps you to find the next notes easier, right? So if, for example, you're doing a solo on a song that is in A minor, just as an example, well, the notes on the A minor scale, or the Aeolian mode, are basically A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? There's no flat or sharp notes in the G minor scale or the C major scale. But if you know where you are exactly on your guitar neck, like if I press this and I know where I am, so this is G flat, then I know this note doesn't belong to the A minor if I want to play everything like on that scale. You can obviously play chromatics, you can play a blues lick on it, which has a flat fifth. So if this is your minor pentatonic, the blues version is basically you add a flat fifth, so it's this. So if you want to play something bluesy, then that's a slightly different story. But if you want to stay on the exact note of the scale, so knowing where these notes are is going to help you out to sort of get an understanding of where you go. Now, but a lot of the times, by the way, you go just by ear. Like, so for example, you just know that if I'm here, this kind of sounds right in the A minor scale, and this kind of doesn't, in a way. Again, I'm using the words right and wrong really subjectively, right? There is no right and wrong. You can just add a flat to make your sound darker and more melancholic, I guess, right? But that's why it's important to know it. But is it a necessity? No, not really. I love playing the guitar, so what I like to do when I can't actually play it is to play around and see if I can improve my theory side of things. My theory side of things, yeah, as opposed to like practical side of things, because I can't practice. With a bit of a migraine headache and a destroyed left hand right now, I can't do nothing. So that's why. But because I like guitar so much, I just do this to have a good time. But yeah, this is. I think we'll leave it here. I think we've done quite a lot. We've had a lot of chats. We did a bit of practice. We went through a bit of news. Yeah, let's leave it here. This was Let the Records Show. Today is May 12th, 2025. Let the records show that the first episode of The Axe Angle was recorded, live streamed actually, on May 12th, 2025. And hopefully in 10 years' time, when I come back, because right now I had a look, we had this stream had how many viewers so far? 11 views so far, right? After an hour in. 10 years' time, this channel is going to grow and become bigger. And in 10 years, we're going to look back at today, the first episode of The Axe Angle, and be like, oh my gosh, what a journey. How good is that? Can you guys see it? I can see it. I can see it. But yeah, we're going to do this a lot more often. I'm going to try to do the Axe Angle as many times as I can. We can have a chat, have fun, do guitar quizzes together, do guitar theory once my arm and my migraine feels better. We can do guitar practice together. And in the interim, you guys can also check out all the other videos that I do. I did a recent video on, what's more important, guitar amp or guitar? Or we did another video on Giacomatura or Giacomatura, whatever you call them. You can check those out in the interim too. But with that said, guys, thank you so damn much for hanging out. Great to see everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's chill time on the Axe Angle. And I'll see you in the next. Take a good care of yourselves. See ya.